Okay, I just wanted to give you kind of a quick tutorial on how you can make your snowflake design. So you're going to go on the left where it says shapes, you're going to insert a shape, which is a circle, because that's what our coasters are, a circle. And then you're going to change the size to 3.5. Up at the top where it says size, you'll just change it to 3.5, and that is the size of the coasters. Then you can right click on it and hit copy, and then you're going to paste 3 more circles because we have 4 coasters total. So now we have just the base of our coasters, and now we're going to add a design on it. So on the left hand side, you can see insert images, and so you're going to click on images. And then up at the top, I'm just searching snowflake. Now you want something that's a single layer, unless you know how to get, to reduce layers, but I'm just choosing a single layer snowflake right now because these are super simple. Right here, this one is free, so I'm going to select that. And then I also selected the other ones that went with the image set of it. I insert it onto my canvas, and then up at the top I'm going to use my align button to center each one of these snowflakes. See, for example, this one is a multi-layered snowflake. I only want one, and so on the right hand side on the layers menu, I'm just deleting out the back layer, the light blue. I'm taking that out because I don't want that layer. I just want a single layer snowflake for this design that I'm doing. Okay, and like I said before, now I'm going to use the align tool at the top to make sure that these are centered. So I make sure to select both the circle and the snowflake, and then I hit center. This will center it perfectly for you. It's a really nice little feature. So you're just going to select both layers and then click at the top, click center. Now I apologize because this was previously filmed, but now instead of the slice tool in the bottom right hand corner, we have now a combine function, which is actually a lot better. So you're going to select both and use the combine button in the bottom right where that slice tool is, and you'll use the subtract to take out the snowflake from the layer. So what that's going to do is it's just going to take out the snowflake from the back coaster, and that's what I want because I want the white showing through on my coasters. So I just select both of them, and instead of slice, you will just use the combine tool, and then you will hit subtract. So I'm just doing that with each of these, and then once I'm done with that, it will be ready to cut. I'm also deleting out, I forgot to mention, I'm deleting out the layers. So I select it, I subtract out the layers, and then I'm deleting those because I don't need them. I just want the circle. So you'll end up with kind of the 3 pieces for each one, and you want to delete out those 2 things you cut out. You only want the circle. Okay, now I have them all and I'm ready to cut. So you go and click on Make It, and then you're going to select Infusible Ink. Now remember, with Infusible Ink, the pattern is always mirrored, and so you need to make sure you select mirrored for these. It obviously doesn't matter because their snowflakes are the same both ways, but if you were doing words or things like that, it needs to be mirrored. So Infusible Ink is always mirrored. Make sure you toggle that on the left-hand side to mirror your design before you cut it out. Okay, now we're ready. So we're going to go here, and then we're going to select Infusible Ink. Once this connects, I'm going to click on Infusible Ink. Okay, so now you're ready to cut out your Infusible Ink. You'll remove the protective sheet from your mat, and then we're going to open this Infusible Ink box. This is a brand new one, so I just need to, I use my scissors to slice the top and to get it open. Inside, you'll find that the Infusible Ink is in a protective, like, plastic bag. I like to put it back in there and put it back in this box just to keep everything nice. So I'm just going to cut the top of the Infusible Ink so that I can reuse this plastic bag to store my Infusible Ink back in the box. Now, one thing you want to be really careful with the Infusible Ink is that your hands are nice and dry and clean, because you could easily scratch off the Infusible Ink. As you see, here it is. This is black. Even though it looks brown, when you transfer it, it will get darker to that black color, but it does look brown. It comes with sheets in there already of the butcher paper, which you'll use to protect your Infusible Ink. So those are always inside, and again, I just like to roll those back up to put them back in. So this is kind of an important part. The Infusible Ink is always really... it's rolled up like that, and you could easily, if you touch that to the mat, it can get stuck and it will ruin your Infusible Ink. So just be careful that you don't let the color side of your Infusible Ink touch your mat. So you're going to put it on your mat, and then you are ready to cut it out. Okay, so then you're going to load your mat into your machine. Make sure you have your fine tip blade loaded, and then it's going to cut out your Infusible Ink. After everything is all cut out, you're going to hit the unload button, which is blinking, and then you are going to weed off the excess infusible ink. This is a good time when it's cutting out to put away your infusible ink just so you don't have to worry about it later on. Okay, so I unloaded the mat, and then I like to peel the mat away from my material. This keeps your material from bending even more, so that's a little tip. And I'm just cutting them into the separate pieces, and now I am weeding everything I don't want. So the excess around the circle, and then all of the snowflakes, because that's where my white is going to be showing through. And so you just want to be careful with this part. Make sure you're not scratching the infusible ink like the other parts. Make sure you leave pieces in that are supposed to be left in. And you're just going to weed out everything, and then they're going to be ready for you to press them. Okay, now I'm going to get ready to apply this to my coaster. It's going to go design side down, so like this. And I'm going to actually trim all this excess off. I like to use the heat tape and do it on all four sides just to make sure the design is on there really well. It's not going to shift. So you don't have to use a lot of tape, but make sure that you get the design on there a lot. And repeat that with all the coasters. Again, make sure the design is face down, and then use the tape to secure it on all four sides just to make sure it's not going to shift at all. Turn on our Cricut Easy Press. Change the temperature, make sure it's set at 400 degrees. If it's not, you can use the up or down button to change it by hitting temperature and then changing it. And our timer is set for 240 seconds. Now we'll get our thing ready. Put the butcher paper down. And then our designs are going to go down with it down. So I'm going to line them all up. Press them all at once, and then we're going to need 4 sheets of butcher paper on top. And then this is heating up. Okay, now we're going to press it. So we'll take our press, put it on our design. Then hit go. Make sure you give your coasters a chance to cool down because they are extremely hot after being pressed for so long. But once they're cooled down, then you can carefully remove the infusible ink transfer sheets, and you get to see your finished coasters. This is my favorite part. I hope you found this video helpful, and remember you can check out my blog everydayjenny.com where I have a written tutorial if you prefer to read about it.